Hi everyone, this is a tutorial on how to create, how to play with Google Sheets here, to manage data, how to make tables, plot graphs, and so on. So the first thing you want to pay attention to is that whenever you're creating a table, you want to organize things in a neat way so that you don't have to ask yourself questions later. If you come back to this table 3 months from now, you should know what's in it. So let's say we collected data on a bunch of participants. So we need a column for participant number. Let's just make up, for this table, we'll just do 5 participants because it's just an example, right? Let's say we collected time data on them. And then you put on the number of time here and it's like 65, 43, 78, 90, 50. All right, so what is this time? Is this hours, minutes, seconds? We don't know. So it's a good way, it's customary to represent on the title there what type of time it is. In our case, if we want seconds, we would put seconds within parentheses. If we wanted to say these are minutes, then we would put M for minutes, right? It's hours, so on and so forth. Right, so time is now set. Now, what else could we have collected as data? Let's say this was a test, and then you collected a number of errors, right? So if you have a number of errors, you can just put the N there to indicate it. And then let's say this person had 0 errors, this one had 2, this one had 0, that one had 3, and this one had only 1. Okay, so they completed in 65. Let's just do seconds here to make it faster. 55 seconds, 0 errors, 43 seconds, 2 errors, yada yada. All right, so this is the beginning of our table. What you want to do next, select these columns for visualization. Go up here on this tab. If you don't see this, it's because it's shrunk. If you don't see part of the menu up here, it's collapsed. So just go on this arrow, click it, and you'll see everything. All right, what else do we do now? Before anything else, before I show you the alignment, give this a name so you know what this is. So for us, this is the tutorial data table, right? Just name it, click there, name it so you know what it is. It's in your drive. Now, whenever you access your drive, you can search for this. Everyone has access to this in Montclair State as your standard software package and Google software. So next thing we're going to do is if you click here at the top and then drag the mouse, like you hold the mouse button and just go to the side, you select the whole column, right? And in this case, we want all these 3 columns here to have center alignment, and see how it organizes the text for us. That's very good. Another good thing to do is to like format the text. Maybe you want to put that in bold so it differentiates from the rest of the text. If you wanted to increase the font size, you could come here and increase the font size for better visualization. 12 size font is usually pretty good. Okay, if you want to delete a column, you can select the column, right click on it or double click with the Mac, and then come here, delete column. It's gone. You could delete the row here too. If you do the same thing, right click the row. If you click here, you select a cell. If you click there, you select the row. So everything in this row here is gonna disappear. If we come here and then delete, good. But okay, we actually need a column beside this because we want to calculate something. So we're gonna right click here and we're going to do insert column to the left. And then there you go. It inserts another column for you. If you by accident do something like this, you don't know what you did, you can press Control Z on PC or Command Z on Mac and it undo. It will undo the action. It's the same as pressing this button here, right here, or I'm going to edit, undo, right? So let's say we by accident alter that and we're like, oh, I don't know what I did. what it was before. I don't remember the value, so we can just come here, undo, and then it goes back to 5. What do we need to calculate? Usually data from participants like this, we cannot make big inferences about it, right? Everyone is different. They have all these errors. So what we want to calculate is the mean or the average of their values. So we're going to indicate it here, mean. And we also need a measurement of variation in this data, or variance. So we're going to put SD for standard deviation. Those are statistical values. You can navigate this using the keys on your keyboard for easier navigation. If you go on top of a cell and then you hold Shift and click down, it selects all of them. If you want to select individual cells, you can select that one, then hold Control or Command, I think, on Macs, and then click on the cells you want. If you get one you don't want by accident, you click it again and it's gone, right? So everything is selected this way. You can also click and drag with the mouse and it will select however many cells you want. So let's select those two, and we're going to go here for bold, and there we go. It is now bold. We're not going to calculate the mean of participants, so that doesn't matter. In fact, we could move these two values to the side here. So what we do is we select the cell, click on the border there, you move to the border until you see this hand, click on it, and then drag it to the side, and there we go. It's there. Good. Let's increase the font size to keep it all the same. All right, so how do we calculate the mean? You could get a calculator, sum these, divide by 5. Pretty okay if you have 5 participants, but when you have 200 plus, it's going to take a while. So now we use formulas. There are 2 formulas that are very important for this. To start a formula in Sheets, you press the keyboard equal. And as soon as you have equal, it will start suggesting formulas for you. It's already, the AI thinks we already want the average. In this case here, we could just click here and it has the average of all these cells, but do not trust the software to do it correctly all the time. So let's delete this and let's go through the process. You type equal and you start writing average, right? And then it will suggest something there. So we can get this, and you'll see it opens a parenthesis and it suggests cells. And if you look here, it says C2 until C6. What this means is C is the column and 2 is the row. So it's going to grab from C2 until C6. It was going to grab all those cells. You can type those in manually if you want, and if you don't want until C6, for example, if you want only until 5, you could just type 5, and you see how the software actually grabs from 2 to 5, but it leaves the last one out. In our case, we want all of them. Then you just close the parenthesis and hit enter, return. And there you go. We have the average. If you want to copy the formula to a column on the side or to a next line, you can just select it. Then when you go in the corner here, you click and drag. And what it does is it automatically updates these values here for you. It says D2 to D6 instead of C2 to C6. And if we click there, in fact, it actually shows the cells that are selected, which is exactly what we want. If we copy this formula down, though, it would do something weird. Like now it updates the number here. So it's actually going from 3 to 7. So when copying formulas down the row, be very careful because you can actually, we're skipping the first one and we're adding the mean. We don't want that. All right, so let's delete this. In fact, what we want here is a different formula. We want the standard deviation. So we're going to do the same thing again. I'm going to hit equal, and it suggests stdev already, which is the abbreviation for standard deviation. Let's just write it. You see several suggestions here. You can read documentation to know what these are. we can just use the standard one, which is this will be fine. So you can click it, and now we can select the cells. We can click and select the cells we want, close the parentheses, and hit return. That's our standard deviation for that. And we're just going to copy it to the side. If it feels like I'm going too fast, you can slow down. I'm going to put this on YouTube. You can slow down the velocity of the video. You can pause, go back, watch it again until you get it. You might have to watch this on your computer so you can see everything clearer, because actually maybe zoom in a little bit. Or I'll just edit this in post-processing to make it bigger. Okay. Now you see here, we have 1 decimal case for these values, and then several decimal cases for these. If you just copy this table and then you put it in a document, this doesn't look very good, right? So what you should do is decide on a number of decimal cases that look reasonable. I would say here 1 is fine, because we don't have any degree of precision on our variables here, no decimal cases. So 1 here should be enough. And what you do is you select these, and then if you go here on this one, you can either increase the decimal cases or you can decrease them. Every time you click it, it reduces the number of decimal cases. Now these look very good and similar to it. It does not alter the value. Like, you could go back and re-add the decimal cases, but notice how it actually rounds the numbers. So we have 5, 7. This is going to turn into a 6 because it's going to round up. See? 6 is going to round up to 7, and then 7 is going to round up to 4. That is fine for our purpose here. So we'll just accept it and move on. Now we have a different font size, so we need to update it. Put it back to 12, like the others. So everything looks nice and neat. What else can we do with this? If you want to separate these fields here so they're easier to visualize, it's a good idea to actually go and select a color for it so you can see them like that, right? This is the data. This is your mean and standard deviation. If someone has like a huge table, it's good to do this. Right, some people will use different colors, so you just go here on this paint bucket and maybe select light gray, you know, and it will immediately, if someone comes looking for this, they will immediately see that there's a shaded value and know that this is the important thing to look for. All right, so the next step is we want to create a graph out of this, because these are just numbers and we want to see what's going on. Typically, we do not graph standard deviation along with the original values. And what do I mean by this? If you select all of this and go insert chart, it's going to create this chart here. And what this chart has is, we don't know exactly what it is, you know, yet, but it has 2 values that are, one, you can see here it's 60 something, the other is close to 20. So if you look at your table, it's actually graphed the mean here and the standard deviation here. This is incorrect. Like, you don't want to do this, right? We want to graph the means and then add the standard deviation to it. So let's click this graph and hit delete to get away, to send it away. The error here is very small, so we'll figure out a way to deal with it later. But what we want to do is select both of these, go insert chart. Now we have our chart here. And what is the problem? Well, the scale, right? The scale is really large to accommodate this, which gives us a very it's very difficult to kind of understand how much this is if we're only looking at the graph. When you put this in a document, if the table doesn't go with it, we need to kind of have a better understanding of what this is. How can we do it? Okay, so we select our graph here, and we have 2 series. We know that one data is the blue, the other is the red, okay? These are the series of data. So if you don't have this menu here on the side, what you do is you double click or you go on this 3 dots here and go edit chart. This will come up. Let's see. So it's gone, right? So you double click, it comes up. You can go on customize, and then you open up series, and you see here where it says apply to all series. You select which one you want. We want column 1. Sorry, column 2, because that's the one that's problematic right now. And what you can do is you can change the axis that on which this column is shown. If we click here, you can select right axis, and you see it created a right axis for it now, and the scale is different. So we have a scale here that goes from 0 to 150 for the blue and from 0 to 2.5 for the red. Okay, let's close this. Now we want to adjust these scales so the graphs look a little bit better. You could just leave it like this if you wanted, but we can change it. Before we do that, let's go back to series here and let's take a look. You could change the color. It's set as automatic. We could make it purple for the first one. And if we go to 2, we can change it to gold, for example, if you want it. But let's do, I don't know, let's do Montclair colors. So let's go back here and then let's do here. What happened? We made it white, right? But if you don't want to, if you want to see what the data is there, you can kind of hover over it, or you can go to the line where it says line color. There's no line around the graph, but you can add one by just selecting the black color, right? You can choose the type of line you want, so you can customize here, and you can see it's changing. And you can change the line thickness. So this is 1. You could have 2 points. You can have 8 points. If you want to 8 pixels, sorry, you can even enter any value you want here, and it will do it. Like you can put 15 there or 10. I think 10 is the max. Let's say you wanted 3, you can use 3. You want 5, we use 5. All right. So that's it. To make them look kind of neat, we could also go here and add the line color of 5 thickness around the red one. Okay. Very good. Let's close the series here. So the problem is the legend, how this thing is not showing up. So what do we need to do? We need to format this thing, right? We could add error bars for the standard deviation, but I think first we're going to look at chart title. You could type a title here for your chart. Let's say test data, hit return, and now it's there on the corner. You could use a different type of text. You could use a different type of font if you wanted it to be smaller or bigger. Let's do 18. You can format it here. You can make it bold or italics, right? And you can also change the orientation here so we can center it. The text color is auto. It's still a little gray. I would change it to black so it's easier to see. Now, can we change other axes? Yes. So we can go to chart subtitle if we wanted to. We don't need that for this. We can do horizontal axis title, which is, do we need it? No, we don't need it. Vertical axis title, which is the left one, this here. We could write time in seconds, and now it has an indication of what the time is. Remember to select the black color and then maybe increase it so it's easier to read on the chart, right? If we go back here and select right axis title, we'll do the same thing, and now our variable is called error, but it's in number of errors, right? Let's select also 18 and black color. Very good. Now we have an idea of what our chart is showing us. Okay. All right. What else can we do here? All right. So Google Sheets does not have the same functionality as Excel does. So when we put a border here on this series, it doesn't show in our legend over there. For that reason, we can't really use white color unless we change the chart style. So the background color now is white. If we changed it to orange, which is quite horrendous actually, we would see the white, right? If it was gray, then it would show. However, if you want to keep the no background here, sorry, let's do white so it's not transparent. If you want to keep white background, then we need to change the color of this data series. So we can just double click it, and then the fill color is set to auto. We could do a different color. Let's do black. All right. So black's too intense. Let's do let's choose like a green here. Okay. For some reason, our series now has a line. Where is our line? He did something wrong. Let's roll back. Control Z. Let's go back here. We found the series again, double clicked it, and now when we do it, it actually keeps that line, and now it shows our series up there. If you double click this, it will bring this menu here. It says legend. Position is set to auto. You can have none to make it go away. You can have top, bottom, left, right. Could be inside the graph like this if you wanted, right? Let's do bottom because I think it's best. And if you double click here again, might take a few tries, but it brings us this context here, and it has text formatting. So you can click there and then write the name of the variable. And again, the time, and say it is in seconds. Hit OK, and we can do it for the other one. So we click the red, and then we do error, and it says it's an N. Right? If we do this, then we don't need these axis titles here, right? Sometimes you're not going to have the variable name with the thing here, so we could edit this to actually say seconds. And we could have this say number. So number of errors and seconds, for example. Or just delete this, right? This name here of the axis. It's good to have names for every axis that you have on your picture. All right, so what are we missing now? We're missing the standard deviation. Remember I told you that there's a proper way to do it. We're going to try to do it now. So if we click here, you might have to close the series. We're on the series here. Remember, we don't want to apply to all series. We want to select time only. Right? Then we're going to select error bars, and it's coming as a percentage. We need to change to constant, and then where it says value, you delete it, and then you write down the value that was for ST. So in this case, it is 18.4. And now you see it's adjusted, and it shows an error bar there. If we double click that error bar, can we edit it? No, apparently that line stays that size. So now we got to edit for error. We'll do the same thing. Select error on the series, go to error bar, select constant, and type in 1.3. And you can see the the error bar is actually greater than the variance is actually greater than the error. This doesn't make it look too good. It's unlikely that it's going to be like this. But you might have to adjust a little bit. So let's see what we can do. Okay, so we were in the series here, and this doesn't look very good. So what we can do is close the series, and you select this axis, double click it here, and it opens the right vertical axis for you. So here you see there's a value that it's a minimum and a maximum, and you can actually set the minimum to 0. And now it brings the graph back down. See the error bar is hitting almost the top there. That's fine. That's pretty good. We can just leave it at that. I would like though to change this color of the error bar to black. I don't know that we can do it. Let's see. Yeah, it doesn't look like we can. Let me do a little search here to figure it out. Okay, so I did a little bit of a Google search, and it seems that Google Sheets doesn't let us customize these things. You can do it in Excel, but red here doesn't look very good. So let's just change this color to something else that is easier to see. Like, no, not this blue, definitely. Maybe that blue. Nope. Something like that. That's a little bit better. If we did black, it would still not be great. Maybe this yellow. Yeah, there we go. So now we have the colors of Brazil. No, we have better colors here to visualize our graph. And this is it. Your graph is done. So what do I do with my graph? Well, first you want to select it, right click, and then you can actually go edit and copy, right? So you copy the graph. Now we're going to go to an empty document. You're going to write a title, you know, your name, class number, class name, stuff like that, just to make the report neat. Assignment name, put a date here too. Those are all good things to have in your report. Now let's say you're going to have a text, a lot of text here, you know, for a while, then end of text. And then below here, you're going to hit Control V or just go edit and paste. You can have it linked to the spreadsheet. And if you have it, what happens is whenever you modify that table there, it modifies in your document. This might be desirable if you want to make changes later. Or you can unlink it. So then if you edit the spreadsheet, it doesn't modify it on your document. I like to go unlinked. And then if I need to update the chart, I'll just copy it in again. So I'm going to hit paste. There's your chart. Okay. It looks really nice like this. It's no like, you don't have to print screen and then it brings all this other stuff with it. That's not good. When you have it here, I would select it and then right click. And where can we go? Image options here. It's always good to have a border around these things. So size and rotation, that looks okay. Let's not play with that. Recolor. We don't want to recolor. Where can we add this? 1 second, let me figure this out. All right, so it's more intuitive than I thought. We have the image selected here. This is an image. You know, you can resize it. If you make it too small, you can use the Control-Z command or the undo, same as in the sheets. And then if you come up here, it says border color, border weight, and border dash. So you could actually choose, it says none right now. Let's put a dark color around, border around it, and let's choose a 1 point to make it look like that. If you wanted to make it look a little thicker, then go 2 point border. There you go. Looks very nice. Great success. We can change the alignment for central, but it's already in the center and maximized. There's your chart. What are we missing? The data table. Same principle. We go here, right click, copy, and then we go to the document, and let's say below here, we do Control V to paste, and we're going to go unlinked, and it pastes it like this, okay? You could leave it like that. I would centralize it. Not this. I would centralize the whole thing. Oh, sorry. Let's Control Z that, and let's actually do let's just paste again. Unlinked. And here, there's this. There should be an option here to actually centralize this table. There we go. We can delete some of this white space. No, we can't. All right, let's leave the table like that. I give up. Some of these software can be quite confusing. The problem is Google Sheets doesn't have the same functionality as Excel, but it's fine. We could insert rows. Here you can still like edit this. We don't want to keep editing it. Just leave your table like that and you're done, right? When you're done with your document, you name it test example document, right? And now it's saved in your drive. You got to go file, download, and then you can select all sorts of formats here. The best is to always go with PDF. And then it's downloaded as PDF. You can click it, and there's your PDF. You can submit it on Canvas, and you're very good. All right. I hope this tutorial helped you guys. If you need, rewatch it, watch it slower. You can change the velocity on YouTube. And I'll see you later. Cheers.